Okay. I put the on light. Maybe I close the door too, huh? Okay. So let's see here. Excuse me. Hi everyone. Thanks for not joining today. I'm just kidding. Let's make sure our chat is up. Hello. Okay, that's working. And let's start streaming to Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. My back still hurts, but at least it's a little better than yesterday. Come down that. Yes, we are live. Here's the preview. There we go. And it's too quiet. Let me know if you guys have any questions for anything that's happening. Let's say today. Yesterday I was talking about the issue with having a 3D printer and knowing a little bit about design. Is that you will have people asking you to do things, which is always fun. It's cool. Yeah, you get to practice. That's how you really get to learn. I did very little tutorials when it comes to Blender. If anything, if I needed to know something, I would go in and look for a video on YouTube specifically of the action I was trying to do. And I often found that shorts were pretty good. Shorts would, get to the point real quick for what you were trying to do, and that was really helpful. Just cut right to the chase, which is pretty much what I want to do. Please excuse the mess in the background. Okay, so we're starting with Suzanne here. I'm just making sure that everything is streaming properly. Okay. So it looks like we're live everywhere. Alright. So we have Suzanne here. That's the monkey in Blender. And she's a little highlighted right now because I like to go into the settings and make sure that the edges are highlighted. Otherwise, it's a little hard to see what's happening. And I find that switching your viewport settings to matte cap and reddish like clay really helps with visualizing, especially once you get into modifying verts. So we always delete Suzanne here. It's fine. And you're not gonna see this, but I'm opening up a photo that I took. I guess it's in my email. To open up my email to get this thing. But often when you're trying to design something, especially if you're a novice like me, it helps to get a photo of what you're doing. Here we go. Right. Oh, did everybody download it? Yes. Okay, so here I'm dragging over my reference photo. Now the reference photo, just took it with my iPhone. No big a deal. And it's not to scale. Don't trust it. It won't be to scale. And what my wife wants, or what your girlfriend might want, is a purse insert. Her purse right here. She's got this. She's got this nice little shiny purse. And I have a scanner, but the scanner doesn't like shiny objects, and this thing is like metallic, right? So what we're going to do is create an insert that's about yay tall. It says she wants it about halfway up this checkered pattern seam thing. And hi, how are you? I have one problem. My headphones not working today. Oh no. Yeah, of course. You need me to reply hi. Yep. Thanks for joining. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know. But so this purse insert, like I already showed you, we're gonna have like just like a little compartment here, and she'd like to have a couple different compartments, and might make them like interchangeable, so you can take out like a fin and then position it in different areas. So we're just gonna go through that. So the first thing you want to do is on your reference photo and on your object, you want to make sure that it's scaled up properly. The cool thing about Blender is that it's more like perspective modeling, so you can always just scale it up and down after the fact. So I really don't need to measure this like right in the beginning. You could do all of your work and then come in later and squish it to the right size or expand it to the right size. Now you gotta remember that like leather here actually takes some space, so you want to make sure that you're actually like not gonna make it a little bit too big. So it says here like 164 millimeters. We're just gonna go for that. I'm planning to print this on my bamboo printer over here and probably just do it out of like PLA at first. She wanted it out of like TPU, which is a flexible material, prints quite a bit slower, but the positive thing with that is that you can stick it into your purse and it'll deform, so it'll be much easier to get it all the way in there. So it seems like we're gonna be at about 165, let's say 165 by 102. So first thing I want to do is take my photo, and then center it. You can either do, and let me go ahead and just turn on key screencasting here so you can see the keys I'm hitting. Okay. So snap selection to cursor. Your cursor is going to be that in the middle. If your cursor is not already in the middle, you can go ahead and do Control S, but Shift S, and put cursor to world origin. That's going to be that 000 mark here in Blender. Okay, so now we're kind of centered, but not quite. So let me just move it over a little bit, and that's roughly center. We're gonna hit our measuring tool here, and we're gonna say this. What did I say? 165. So you can see that's 2 millimeters. So we're way off. All right, and since we're taking from the middle, we're gonna have to like divide by 2. So it's like what, 132.5 or something. So we're way off. 132.5. Now this is kind of rudimentary. 132. Let's say right there. You know, even just say 132. A little bit smaller is fine, because again, that leather is gonna take up some space. The thickness of the leather. You don't want to know how many times I've made something and not accounted for the thickness. Okay, because it's going to be on the inside, not on the outside. So we're going to go ahead and scale up the photo until it reaches, bam, and you can see what I'm talking about here. Roughly, there's the thickness of the seam. I want it on the inside of the seam, you know, and then I've made it, you know, a few millimeters smaller, so just to make sure. Now the X, and again, this thing is like not exactly in the middle, so you can just do is grab the flipping. You can grab the other side of the measuring tool, and there's more professional measuring tools you can use as a add-on, and you know, it's called Measure It. It'll do like it'll measure something, and then when you actually scale it, it'll follow along the scaling. But that'll be for another video probably. Okay, so we're at 270. Oh yeah, because I didn't divide that by 2. We're at 277. So what they're saying here, be 50, 80, be about 80 something. You know, always grab your calculator out here. I have it on my phone. 165 divided by 2, 82.5. There we go, something like that. Okay. And let's scale once again. Bam. There you go. That should be good. And if we stretch this out to the other side, we should be pretty close. Do that. Okay, so that's roughly where we need to be. And the awesome thing about 3D printing is that you're gonna do a prototype, then you can always come in and change it. All right, so the width is, we're at 100 and we're at 99, so that's gonna be close enough. Okay, there's gonna be some flex to this thing, so we're at the right thing. Okay, so let's just delete this because I don't want that. Now that we've properly scaled our photo, we're gonna go ahead and hit, you know, control shift A. It's gonna add an object. I'm gonna choose an object, so go to mesh, and let's just do circle for now. And we're at 32 vertices. This little mini menu comes out. You can change the vertices, so let's change it. I'm gonna change it to something decently high. You know, I usually do like 260 or something. The more vertices you have, the smoother it's going to be. And that's a little different than if you're modeling on like a CAD program where it's like, I don't know, parametric or whatever. The graphic one of those, where it's going to be a curve on mathematically, so it's going to be totally smooth. So here we have to define how many vertices we want. The radius obviously is going to be how big we want it. So this is going to be roughly, you know, let's just call it, it's going to be about 50. I think. We're going to hit rotate around the x-axis by 90 degrees, so we can see it pop up. And then we can always grab our photo and center it on the photo to the world origin so that we don't have to move. We can keep your actual object centered in the world origin, more or less. Okay, so we have a semicircle here, and that's probably honestly going to be good enough. You probably want to keep it as a semicircle because I don't know how the stencil of this purse was made, but you can see it's not precisely a circle. You can always change it, and it is a lot of vertices. Like, I don't think we needed that many vertices, but it's all right. I'm gonna grab half the vertices. I'm gonna move them over. Bam. So that's gonna be kind of like the outline of the bottom of the purse. Cool. Now if I were to switch to solid mode here, or object mode, you can see we just have a circle. We have a pill, basically, and it's not filled in. That's all right. We're gonna get to that. We just want to double check, make sure this is probably going to fit in the purse. It would be a little bit of a waste if it didn't. then we had to go in, change it a little bit, which is fine. In Blender, it's particularly easy to go in and change a model after the fact. So we're gonna hit A for all in edit mode to grab all the vertices, and then hit F to fill it in. Now you can see we have a filled in thing. And right now it's just one dimensional. We're going to create the patterns first. Like I said before, she's gonna want like some sort of fin system. Roughly, she wants something in the middle or a little bit offset. Excuse me, a little bit offset. And then like something that we can slide in. So she's gonna have one large pocket. Then we're gonna divide this someplace and then do a couple of more pockets. All right, so we're gonna hit all and select all of our vertices, and then hit I to inset them a bit because we're gonna want to create a ridge. Okay. Now the ridge, because it needs, you know, we're gonna need walls on this thing. Right now the ridge is roughly 3 millimeters, and it's always great to have a caliper with you. Got this caliper here, just to visualize what's actually going on. So you can see 3. So it's zeroed. 3 is probably a little bit thick. Probably just need 2 millimeters really. And if you're, I don't know, if you're really smart, then you would do multiples of 0.4. Most printers print at 0.4 millimeter thickness when it comes to the bead of the plastic line that it prints. So if you were to do, you know, like 0.4 times like 3, you're at 1.2. You know, so we could do like 1.6-ish, 1.6 to 1.8 thickness. You know, between that and 2. Alright, so we're just gonna hit scale so we can bring, or we can just reverse that. And then hit I again. And bring it to your measurement right there. Alright. So we have a pretty consistent wall here. Now there's other ways to do it. You could make the object and then use a solidify modifier. I just want to get the outline first because we're going to be creating these walls. We're not entirely sure of how we want them, I think. So either we have them split in half, basically split in half. I mean, how much room is that going to give her? Typically you have a wallet with me. I don't know. It's about the size of this PSP. And the PSP is, I mean, it's not going to be any thicker than that. It's 26 millimeters. It's about an inch. An inch would be 25.4 millimeters. We got 46. So I mean that's plenty. Also, there's around something like a Pepto-Bismol size container. You left me this. That's like 38. So we're gonna have like a compartment here on the side someplace. Up here. So say it's like so. We have walls like that. Oops. Like that. You know, something like that. So we have these 2 compartments here, and then a larger compartment here. Go ahead and let's just take an average and make this 104. Again, take your You know, take your calipers and check it out. You know, she's always going to be able to put her wallet in vertically, which is going to be smaller. So that's all right. Let me see. Comparing it to the PSP. Yeah. Not quite as long. But it seems like that'll be okay. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to try to connect these. She was iffy about making it into a fin system. Because if we really need to, just redesign this and change it rather than have all these fins to deal with. Let's see how it works out. And what we'll do is we will take both of these objects and duplicate them and put them off to the side, just so that we can actually tackle other forms of this project in different ways. So Blender is going to be a bunch of like trial and error, really. So there's going to be things that we do that are not always optimal, but you have to really play around with it. So maybe what I do is I grab very lazily, grab the inside of this, right? I'm going to do another inset so that we can kind of select and experiment with where we want these fins. Okay. So here's our center line. And we're going to delete everywhere that we kind of like don't want the fins. Okay. Okay, so to press C and get this thing up. Remember, the fins have to be three-dimensional, so what we're going to be doing is kind of like that, for example. If you were to delete these vertices, right, you're gonna come up with this, and that'll give us something to slot in. We can go ahead and measure. 2 millimeters. Yeah, that looks good. That looks just about good. Again, this is a really rudimentary way of doing this, but and also just realize this, it really needs to be straight. So we're gonna have to make some of these straight, which is okay. Let's go ahead and keep deleting what we don't want here. We're gonna want 2 and then a space and then 2. Something like that. That's too much. Yeah. And then let's just see how we could do this. We could take these and just bring them up. Create this slot here. Yeah, I'm about to. So that's pretty good. You know, we could take these individually. You take these individually and kind of make them flat with the eye. It really doesn't have to be exact. I'm sure there's more optimal ways of doing this. It is all right. You know, you can grab these and do scale X and 0 to make them perfectly vertical, but I don't know if that's what we want to do just yet. Let's just go ahead and keep working on this. And again, with these, like, there's a slight bit of an angle to them, and who knows? I mean, that might help you keep the fin in better. So let's just go ahead and keep deleting what we don't want. Yeah. Okay, so let's bring up the measuring tool again, because somewhere around, okay, so around here we're gonna want another fin. And over here, of course, we want the other fin. I want to make sure we did the same thing as this side. The center post gone, and we're keeping these, keeping those, like that. Like that. Here we just don't want any of these. Okay, so we kind of have these little guides. All we gotta do now is, and in fact over here, to make this guide even possible, we're gonna need to create a steady wall. Probably don't need these actually. I'm just gonna go ahead and connect these. It sounds like someone's leaving. I better say bye to them. Okay. It's okay.
Once a day that I would pray for you, I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. Damn, what a hell of a view. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time,
okay.
You're so fine.
I don't think anybody's actually watching, but thanks.
I drink straight, don't waste time.
I'm gonna put that on so I can hear.
So catch me if I fall.
Okay, so we just filled in this compartment. And I think I have want my rotation such that I'm looking directly on this thing. So I'm just want to change. I want to change this, all of it. Rotate on the x-axis. Because when I hit Z, I want to see the actual thing. If you rotate your picture and you end up not seeing it, it's probably because you're looking at the back. So just flip it by 180. Right. So we've made that bridge, and you see again, there's almost no point in making these pins. Seems like, I mean, I can add some fins here, but I mean, is it really gonna matter? How big did I say this pill was? So it might change up and just delete all these fins and just do this compartment finless. So let's call this about 40 millimeters in width. In diameter. I'm gonna add a cylinder. 32 verts, that's fine. Radius, what did I say, 40? So it's gonna be 20. And the thickness, what's that, like 3 inches or something? 3 times 3.54. 3 times 25.4. About 76. Let's call it. Just to get a physical representation of how that pill bottle is going to sit. So, yeah, and so that's why she was saying that she wanted this thing like slightly offset. Okay. So we're probably just going ahead and create another wall over here someplace. And I'm not even sure. And I think she said she wanted it somewhat over here too. Another piece. How about we go ahead and do that? Let's just delete these. Forget about this fin system. It's gonna get overcomplicated. I'd like this to be, you know, like a simple tutorial. Especially at first. This is one of our first. Dissolve. Okay. So, let's try to split. Let's try to split this fence someplace here. Okay, so here's the pill bottle. I'm gonna hit Shift and R. Create another fence. I'm gonna hit GG. Move it along the axis. I'm gonna measure this a bit just to make sure we're close to the millimeter mark. Compared to the GG. No, you get it somewhere there. Good enough. Cool. And from here we can do a few things. We can extrude it out so that we get so that we're able to do this like linearly. Kind of know where we're at, but that may not divide up the surface. So we're gonna have to fix that. We're gonna have to like put these together. I mean, about taking this and hitting GG, for example, and putting it up here. grab these and do scale Y0 just to make sure that they're in the same plane. Get that merge, M for merge at first. Click your first, step to the second, merge at first. Now if we go to face, you can see here the face is not split. We're gonna need those faces split. And the ideal way to do that now probably is to backtrack and delete them. Now that we have, you know, these things set up in a way that's flat. We could have done this. Probably could have done this from the beginning. All right, vertex mode. J for join, huh? Not exactly. Probably because these things need to be properly too. Alright, you see, after doing the joining, and the program kind of understood what I was trying to do. Now this face is its own face. Like, right? And this face is its own face. Okay? So that way we can extrude these guys. And there won't be kind of like clipping. It's the walls will be welded to the ground. Not that it's super important, because after you export all this into 3D printing, it's not really gonna matter. It's all gonna be printed as one. So if there's any confusion, just let me know. There's a difference between fill and join is basically the thing. So I'm gonna choose these two vertices. And that didn't work. These two, come on. Join. I cannot connect these verts. Oftentimes you want to go in and apply rotation. That is Control A. Apply all transformations. You see, these things are not together, probably because we need to join them. Do a better job of joining these things. Okay, so we just deleted those vertices. And we're gonna go ahead and just try again to do a loop cut. Oh, there, and do another loop cup. Left click and bring it down. And then now let's connect these guys. There we go. Connect and join. Now that looks flat, but I can see that it's not quite flat. Like I said before, you could grab these and grab that. Do 0. I'm just going to just take the average of both. You can get it close. Scale. Okay, so we know here it's going to be these two. I would take these and dissolve those vertices. I'm hoping to dissolve these vertices. J. Grab that one. J, that one, hit J, and there you go. We kind of created our Super Smash Brother symbol here. Put that. This one, maybe move it up. I want all those to be straight. Grab them all. Scale Y 0. You'll take the average, make them straight. Again, does that really matter? No, when it's in your girlfriend's purse or your purse, it's not really gonna matter. Scale Y 0. All right. So there. Now we have an outer wall. We have these inner compartments. Smaller compartment, larger compartment, wallet compartment, or phone compartment. We can take this, and if you wanna hide something, you can press H to hide. If you press H again, it will not hide it again. You need to hit Control H to bring it back. Or you can also get the object, click on the object you're actually working on, and then press /, and that'll just isolate your object. Now that doesn't hide the other parts of what you're working on. The cool thing about hiding the parts that you're working on is that it actually takes the vertices and hides them so that they don't like render, they don't like slow your computer down. So if you have something with like tons of vertices and your computer's slowing down, you can hide everything that you're not working on, and it won't affect your viewport. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit / to isolate what I'm working on so that it doesn't matter, because I'm not working on that many vertices. So we want to extrude this thing upwards. So I'm gonna go ahead, now that we've created our plane, and that's how this is usually done. I'm gonna take my purse here, okay, my wife's purse, your girlfriend's purse, whatever. Measure how high you want this thing. This purse cinches down and becomes like this pocket thing, right? So I want to make sure that I don't interfere, because the higher it is, the more it's gonna want to pop open. And I guess we kind of like don't want that. She was kind of like explaining that to me. Okay, so about 50. 50 looks good. About 2 inches tall. I'm gonna go ahead and again just crudely measure 50 millimeters in the Z direction here. And then we're gonna grab everything that we want to extrude. Okay. So there's a few ways to do that. I just hit A or to grab all the vertices at once, and then I'm probably gonna go into face select and hit 3, and then just click on the faces that I don't want to extrude. So that's where it comes in handy for joining everything, welding everything correctly. Because if you're just going to, if you don't, you will click the background, the bottom, and it'll highlight the entire thing instead of just these faces. Now that's not a big deal either, because you can just go ahead and delete all of those faces and then manually in vertice mode grab all of the vertices, like such, right? And then it'll highlight. If you can clean up a little bit, and that takes a little bit longer, then hit fill. You can fill each compartment. Like, Blender is very flexible. So back to what we're doing. All right, we've got all. Then we're just going to deselect what we don't want to extrude. Cool. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna hit it on, lay it on the side. Check out the measurements. Hit E for extrude, and just bring it up. Right now I've got it to snapping, so it's just gonna snap to the grid. If you don't want it to snap, you can deselect the magnet there, the school horseshoe magnet, and then again extrude, and it's not going to snap. Now I found that useful, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. Okay, there we go. We have our compartments set up. Now the compartments are not too bad. I think that's pretty much what she wants. And once again, we're going to take this and hit / so we can see everything. And I thought that I had created. If something like this happens to you where you can't see anything, but you have your thing selected, hit your period button on your num key and it'll recenter whatever that you were actually looking at. And if you can see, like, I zoom out and this thing starts like clipping away, like it starts to disappear. And what you want to do is go to view on your side menu here, press N if your side menu is gone, and then in under, clip start, end, add like another 0 to your end, and that's going to extend the viewport much wider so you don't get that. Pretty sure I was working on something else. Oh, there it is. What are you doing up there? Bring you back down and rotate you around the infinite system. Also, put you away over there. Grab everything I was working on, duplicate, because I'd like to have kind of like a continuum of what's going on here. What's this? Is this a photo? Is this the photo? Yes, it is. Okay, back where we were. I kind of don't need this photo anymore, so I could grab it and like hide it. recenter my object, and just make sure that this pill bottle thing is in the right compartment. So here we got the pill bottles. Here we got, you know, lipstick, wallet, such, phone, whatnot. And we're gonna grab pill bottle and hide it. So when we're printing, this is gonna be printing in layers. So once the machine transitions from printing the floor, which by the way, just realized the floor has no thickness, so it's not going to print. It's not going to print. See, if I go to here, yeah, here's the error in ways. There is no floor here, which is easy to deal with. All we gotta do is grab the exterior. Okay. We're gonna go into wireframe so we can see what's going on. And we could just drag it or extrude it downward. I'll probably just extrude it so we have something to deal with. Solid mode. You see now there's a lip here. And what do we do? Hit F, fill. Nice. So now it's solid, three-dimensional. Okay. The other thing you can do if you didn't hit F, you can hit all, or in object mode, just click on the object and go over to your 3D print plugin. If you have that set up, make manifold and it will make it watertight. Double check by going to wireframe and making sure that there is actual a wire structure to support everything. As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by myself. The print will start printing these walls right on top of this flat panel, and it is not always optimal because I just realized over time that it can get weak. If you're shoving stuff in there, these seams can break over time. So we kind of want to reinforce these seams so that they don't break. So we're gonna grab all of these things, and who knows, maybe we grab the inside too to see how this thing reacts. We're gonna want to bevel these. We're gonna hit Control B and bevel. Now, if you can hit Control B and then scroll your wheel to create a smoother transition. And so now you can see that we have a smoother transition, and this is going to create some more rigidity. This is going to create some more support so that these walls don't break off as easily. Okay, we got something funky happening here in the middle. You could you do a bunch of things. You could grab all these. Grab all these and merge at center. You know, dissolve that vertex now. That looks much cleaner. Again, make sure everything's manifold. Then you can see it automatically removed 6 vertices. Oftentimes these vertices are laying on top of each other for one reason or another. And you can see here at the corner, these things don't look quite neat. But, you know, it is good enough. Make these edges more robust. You wouldn't really have to do this if we didn't have that many vertices, but I wanted a bunch to make it smooth. Like that. Grab these. Also merge them. I have the auto merge. When you actually grab it, it'll merge. Grab it, press GG, move it, and it'll auto merge to the vertice that you're dragging it over to. That's pro tip. Now, this is really, again, this is really just to make the geometry make a little more sense. But once you slice this in the slicer, it's really not going to matter that much. We're just trying to make something that's functional, for your girlfriend to use, and somewhat reliable. It looks right. Now, it seems like these could use a little bit more. No. But like I said, really, this is good now. Outside and put these now. Again, you really don't need to do this. Now that this thing is manifold, you can pretty much just print this already. It's just me being a little somewhat of a perfectionist, because I did not do this the optimal way. We just did this the hardcore easy way. So this is a good intro to what Blender is like, what it can do, what it can do. We'll get into that a lot. Okay, there's our bento box looking thing. It's just a little annoying that this thing is like not totally flat. Okay, so since this manifold, that'll help you clean it up. And I forgot to grab these and do this one. But please try. Did that work? Most of this beveling is just optional now. Grab them before. If you want to re-bevel stuff, it's going to be meshy. Nope. Regardless, we're gonna clean up. Could have stopped a long time ago. What's going on here? If it's a real issue, I wonder how far back we can go. Let's see. That looks. So it's better to bevel everything at the same time. Let's see how far back we can go. Hi Peach, what's up? How you doing? Heard you meowing over there. What's going on? Okay. Look, we got a visitor. What's up? You want to say hi to the stream? Say hi. Hello. This is Princess Peach. Don't ask me who named her. He wants to say hi. Can you do this for me? Can you do the stream? Our first stream? Maybe you'll catch some viewers for us, huh? Hi. He's so cute. This is a rag doll. He's the most docile cat. My first cat. I've never had another cat. Huh? Pretty much. I've taken care of cats before for people, but this is the first time I've kind of owned one. I got it for my daughter, really. But you're so attached to me, huh? You won't let me alone at all. I can't even go to the bathroom without you following me. Are you good? Cute cat. What's up? Hmm? You had enough? Hmm? You're purring all the time. So hairy. Awesome cat though. So let's see. Can we go back or not? Are we stuck here? Okay, so we're stuck here. I can't go back. Fix this. Now that's exactly why you always have your backup ready to go. Because I would like to do all of the beveling at the same time. And since I kind of messed up on beveling the other edges, I'm gonna do it again. Yes. I really can't go back. Wish we could. Now my computer lets me go back. My setup in Blender lets me go back quite far, 100 or so. Control Z's. And you can change that in your preferences. So we're gonna duplicate it and snap selection to cursor, and we're gonna keep offset so that everything stays in proportion to each other. Again, delete that, and we'll just delete that, and we'll go in and rebevel what we wanted. This time being careful, maybe just like hitting manifold in the beginning. Something happened, I don't know. Oh yes, we need to adjust the bottom again. Okay. Let's extrude it. 2 millimeters. Yes. Sorry for all the back and forth. But that's what it is in Blender sometimes. You can hit manifold or fill it, like we said before. We're gonna go in and try to bevel everything. Did I do we need to adjust anything? Maybe this time we go ahead and merge these vertices. We got our auto merge set up. That's this button over here. It's like it's 2 vertices and the squigglies between them. Maybe what we could do is grab the entire loop, GGs, and drag it over. The whole loop, GGs, drag it over. He's over here. Obviously, this wouldn't just work for a purse, but you know, you could do this for a bunch of other things. You can make your own bento box thing. You know, if you're gonna print it, make sure that you're printing out food safe stuff and putting it with like a food safe enamel or whatever. also hit. Now it seems, I think that seems good. We got them all. And that'll just help us, help the bevel stop from interfering with the other edges. All right, now, manifold in. Now I'll grab all the edges you want to bevel. Let's just go ahead and grab everything we want to bevel and then try it, see how it works. And if not, then we just start eliminating some bevels. Retrying it. Suppose we could just grab the floor like that. And I was just thinking, maybe, you know, including, I mean, it's practically like rebeveling everything. But we might want to bevel top too. Actually, what I kind of want to do is all these. If we don't get the issue we were getting before. But we have to merge it. Just seeing if this is an easier way to do it. Grab everything. Issue being though, we don't want to bevel all of those edges on the top either. We have to manually go in and deselect them too a little bit. These is what I'm talking about. If you bevel these, you're gonna create more. You're gonna create more edges. It'll be super messy. So anyone have a 3D printer, man? They are awesome. I think I'm gonna want to bevel the inside, not the inside, the bottom as well. For the sake of making it easy to slide in. If the bottom isn't beveled or chamfered or whatever, you're gonna have a little elephant's foot edge. It's gonna scrape against whatever you're inserting it into, in this case, the leather purse. And I kind of don't want that to happen. Really don't want that to happen, especially to a new purse. So just making it smooth will help with the insertion. Okay. dealt with that. I didn't see that. That's what I'm talking about. We don't want to bevel these. But we do want to bevel the bottom. Great, so bottom selected, that means that we didn't screw that up too much. All of the interior selected, all the edges selected. Probably don't want to pull that part. Yeah. Just the edges. The edges of everything. In fact, I might not do these top ones yet, because it won't be as severe as I want the rest of them. Let's go ahead and bevel. Go ahead and deselect. Something weird is happening. Hit C to lock it. something weird that happens like this, it's not that big of a deal because you can just go in and delete faces. But for the sake of trying to figure out what's going on, you could also just click on the face and delete the face and go from there. But if you kind of know what's clipping, this is just a clipping issue. You just start merging things that don't make sense. You can see, I need clipping going into making manifold and going into X-ray mode, wireframe mode, or X-ray mode, so you can see what's going on and just fixing it up. This weird clipping is happening around this edge, and so we can merge by distance, close the distance a bit, keep closing it, keep closing it. That does something weird.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind,
Whoops, looks like I didn't quite capture something.
the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact,
quicker than I got. So this auto merge thing helps.
They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah, but I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these shit I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread, with every word that I've said. How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel?
Anything weird happening? Less weird stuff happening. Great. Over here. just going and deselecting everything we don't want to bevel. Cleaning up your models always takes longer than the actual modeling. I feel like. But then I always say you have to model twice. One time in your CADing software, and then another time when you're actually slicing, you're putting it in your 3D printer slicer. Because your slicer's gonna want things to be done in a certain way too. I try to think ahead now so that I don't have to waste time making modifications in the slicer. And then spending more time in Blender instead. Okay, that seems to be good. Let's try it, see if we get any clipping. Let's see. Alright, so we've got a little bit of clipping going on. Okay, so things are smooth now. Somewhat. Which I suppose you could also do a subdivision modifier. What would that would look like? Save this someplace. Oops. Quick experiment here. We take this, go subdivision, surface modifier. That looks good. Yep, very good. So we're not gonna do that. Okay, so there we have our smoothish purse divider. I can always scale this to size if it doesn't quite fit the purse, but I'm pretty sure it will. And now we're beveled, so things are going to be reinforced. And this should last a long time. If you make this manifold, you're going to want to export it out to where you save it. It will automatically export to that folder. And then we're going to bring it in. I'm going to bring it into Bamboo Studio. So it's been exported. Timestamp 205. Go to our thing here. Open it up. You can just double click on it. And then I will make sure that we can see it in our scene. As soon as this thing opens, Bamboo Lab takes a little while to open, especially if you have previous instances. How are you guys doing? You make your bento box. You have any projects you think I should tackle? Maybe it can help you guys design something you need. It looks like this will fit onto the mini, which is good. But I think we're gonna do this in gray because the purse is like a silver color, so we're gonna go over to the line and make sure you guys can see what's going on. Bamboo. Yes. We're gonna switch. I got 4 printers set up, so we're gonna switch to the A1 large. I'm going to prepare mode and synchronize. Let's see if you guys can see that. You're on the wrong one. So here it is compared to that the build plate, and everything looks smooth. Get away. It looks smooth. And it is already in gray filament. Really? Synchronized filaments. Trust it, always make sure. Alright, so typically things like this, boxes, it's a surprisingly long time. Especially if you're printing this at high quality. So let's stop and print this at standard quality. 0.2. 0.2, that's the height of the build. That'll be the, you know, the stepping height. I don't know if we just make this like, that's concentric mode. The pattern that it's printing the floor at, up and bottom, we want concentric mode. The thing about these patterns can sometimes help you avoid cracking if too much pressure is placed on it. Like if you're doing this back and forth, this back and forth style, it can tend to crack along the printing grade here. But I think we're just gonna do that because at least it goes back and forth. The slicer, you know, it's gonna be pertinent for you to like check to make sure that everything is smoothed out. And then probably go in, do adaptive, smooth. Adaptive. Just to minimize stair stepping. And actually keep these parts smooth. Because you don't want to be sticking your hand in something that's going to be sharp. That again, and like I said, it can take a little while. It can take 2 hours and 44 minutes, which is not that bad. We should have something nice and fun at the end of this. I'd say that was pretty easy. Let me know if you guys have any questions. See how thick these walls are because I don't want them breaking. Too bad. They're reinforced by the center post and the sides. Should be good. Let's go ahead and print. Yeah. We can always talk about other stuff too. It doesn't always have to be about 3D printing. There's a lot to talk about these days. All right. There we go. If you heard the 3D printer firing off. 2 hours and 44 minutes. You could always increase this speed to get a little bit quicker, sometimes at the cost of print quality. Where that really matters if you're doing something like silk, you're printing something in like a silk or shiny PLA. Printing it will cause the shininess to change. So it'll probably, be more or less shiny sometimes. Usually less shiny. Sometimes could be more. I don't know. Depends on the filament. But I made some Minecraft shoes for my nieces and nephews for Halloween. I was doing the entire Minecraft suit. Oh, those were heavily print. And the shoes, I had sped them up like halfway through, so the shoes were partially shiny and partially like silk matte weird thing. Which is fine, like nobody really cared. But you can't speed up the print like that then. Okay. So there we go. Save what you're doing. Put it away. And this will be something you can print again in the future, resize if you need to. Okay. Because who knows? You could print this for somebody else. You can maybe even sell your STL. I will make my STLs eventually available on like Bamboo Lab and like Printables, Thingiverse, those sort of places. Most of them will be for free. Some of them will be paid. Some I've made some complex stuff in the past. Yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions. Doesn't seem like we had anybody ask anything or say anything, so that's all right. Let me know if the volume for the mic or the music was too high, too low. I'd love your input. Let me know what you think I should be modeling next. And forgive my amateur nature. Thank you so much for joining. Loved having you. I'll see you in the next one.